What's up, everybody? My name is Tucker. In today's video, we're doing an NBA trade machine on the Sacramento Kings. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like rating on it. Check out my socials and the link tree as well. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first, let's kind of set the stage here for Sacramento. Obviously, they just fired Luke Walton as their coach, and they're just in a really bad spot from a roster standpoint. I mean, they're in a situation where they can't even beat the Sixers backups. The future of De'Aaron Fox is like the point guard moving forward is in question. They've tried to trade Buddy Hield for 2 years. Tyrese Haliburton had a good rookie year. He's been a little bit up and down as in his second year. You have Davion Mitchell there. You have Harrison Barnes. You have Marvin Bagley. There's enough talent here where this should be a half-decent basketball team, and they're just not. So most of the time, when you combine that with firing a coach, that means a significant roster shakeup, and we're going to see what you guys came up with here. We've got 4 trades from you guys and then 1 trade from me here at the very end. First up, we have Hoops. He says, I don't know why it's cut off here, the Kings are getting Danilo Gallinari, Cam Reddish, and Sharif Cooper in exchange for De'Aaron Fox to Atlanta. Okay, so a couple of things here. I've talked before about the fact that Atlanta is probably going to be looking to move Danilo Gallinari potentially before the deadline, because I think part of their struggles to begin this season have been, of course, they're trying to make adjustments. Teams are playing them much stronger because they had such success towards the end of last year. Trey's trying to get accustomed to the free throw stuff, all that. But I also think that they maybe have a few too many players, which is a weird thing to consider here, but part of that comes in with Danilo Gallinari, where they've got, Cam Reddish was hurt for a good amount of time last year, but they've got Reddish, they've got Gallinari, they've got DeAndre Hunter, they've got, John Collins in the front. Like, they just have a lot of guys. Kevin Huerter in the backcourt, of course, Trey. There's just a lot of players to find minutes for, and at a certain point, that can prevent you from really finding a rhythm. So that, in combination with some of the money they have coming up, whether it be with Trey's extension, Clint Capella's extension, and the fact that Danilo Gallinari has a non-guaranteed contract for next season, I think they're going to look to try and move him, potentially shake up the roster. Now, of course, they're including Reddish and Cooper here as well, 2 interesting young players. Reddish, who could be really good down the road. But the idea is we have Fox, we have Trae Young. That's our backcourt of the future. We roll forward. Those guys are making max money. Those are our guys. Now, the concept here is interesting because, of course, Trey is a fantastic offensive player, but struggles defensively, doesn't have great size. And De'Aaron Fox can be a fantastic defender, although not really a great off-ball player. I'm not sure the fit offensively is super clean, but defensively it works, with Fox trying to make up for some of the deficiencies Trey has on that end of the floor, assuming that's something that he's interested in doing. Here's my issue. If you're Atlanta, you're giving up 2 wings that are important to you. The bigger loss to me here is Reddish, especially for the future of the group. And you're trading him for a guy in Fox that I'm not sure fits. And you already have other guards. You have Kevin Huerter. I would rather move Huerter here than I would Reddish, and then that makes the roster fit a little bit cleaner. I'm not sold on the Fox Trae Young combination being like an Eastern Conference Finals level backcourt, long term, for years and years and years. That's just where I'm at personally, but I do appreciate you sending this in. It's absolutely interesting. I'm not 100% sold on it from Atlanta. From Atlanta's perspective, Sacramento, I mean, it's pretty good value depending on how you value Reddish and Cooper, but Gallinari really is not that much of an asset apart from saving you money, but you're going to have to pay Reddish pretty soon anyway. So it's a little bit iffy, but I do appreciate sending it in, man. Thank you. Next up, we have again, it's cut off here. The Warriors are getting Harrison Barnes back to Golden State, Jeremy Lamb and Miles Turner. The Kings are getting Wiggins, Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, and 2 firsts from the Pacers. And the Pacers are getting De'Aaron Fox. Okay, so let's unpack this. So the Pacers are finally picking a big. They're choosing to trade away Miles Turner. They're trading Turner, Lamb, and 2 firsts in exchange for only De'Aaron Fox. That seems like a lot. The Warriors are trading all the young guys, right? So they're getting rid of Wiggins, they're getting rid of Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, no firsts, but they're getting rid of all the young guys to get Barnes, Lamb, and Turner. And then the Kings are getting just all of the assets, 2 future firsts, all the young guys from Golden State and Wiggins who they can flip later down the road. For the Warriors, the concept here, of course, is that they have a fantastic starting 5. You got Curry, Clay, Harrison Barnes, Draymond, Miles Turner, Jeremy Lamb off the bench. Roll forward with that group. If you're talking about how can we create the best closing lineup moving forward, this is an awesome way to do it. Miles Turner has continually been connected to Golden State because of their need for a 5. His ability to space the floor, screen, and defend would obviously be super helpful. My initial issue here, though, with that fit is I don't necessarily see Harrison Barnes as like a true 3. A lot of the time when Harrison Barnes has success, it is him playing the 4. And although him and Draymond Green together in the front court would be a really nice fit, that pushes out Miles Turner then. And then at times, Draymond's best way to play is at the 5 as well. So positionally, if you're like, hey, this is going to be an awesome starting 5, I'd like the fit to be a little bit cleaner in terms of what those guys do best. For Sacramento, this is pretty good value. I mean, I know you're trading 2 pieces, you're trading away Fox and Barnes, but Barnes here, you can get some stuff out of him, but if you include it in a Fox trade and get this kind of value, I think it's absolutely something to pay attention to, because you can still flip Wiggins down the road. You still have Bagley, who you can move. Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, and 2 firsts. That's pretty good value, in my opinion, for Sacramento. They might not do it. They might rather keep Fox and Barnes, but it's definitely interesting. It definitely gets my attention. And then for Indiana, you have to really believe in De'Aaron Fox if you want to make this move. I appreciate them finally picking a big and deciding to trade away one of Turner or Sabonis. But again, it comes down to how much do you believe in De'Aaron Fox? Do you think De'Aaron Fox is like a future All-NBA caliber guard that you're getting when he's very young and you're just getting out of that Sacramento situation? If you believe that, then go for it. This is an absolutely worthwhile move. But I'm not sure that there's been a huge indication that that's the case for Fox moving forward. So an interesting trade. I appreciate you sending it in, but I do think there's obviously some flaws here. But you can talk yourself in and out of pretty much any trade at any time. Next up, we have Costas sending us a trade. Friend of the trade machine. This guy has sent a ton of trades in that have been in videos in the past. In this trade, the Kings get Daniel House and Killian Hayes. The Pistons get Marvin Bagley, Taylor Horton-Tucker. The Lakers get Kelly Olynyk in 2 seconds, and the Rockets get Kent Bazemore and a second. Okay, let me read his description here. It says, Sacramento grants Bagley's wish and ships him to Detroit, where he can actually play next to Cade, Bay, and Grant. Next to Cade, Bay, and Grant. Sac gets a promising young guard that might see playing time if Sacramento goes through the Buddy Hield trade. Olynyk Hugo spacing, Rockets collect a second. Okay. So there's not like any huge name pieces here, but the things that stick out to me are, as he mentioned, the Lakers getting front court spacing, which they absolutely do need. The Pistons getting a young piece here in Taylor Horton-Tucker and Marvin Bagley. The Rockets, as he said, get a 2nd round pick. And the Kings get Killian Hayes. I'm just out on Killian Hayes. I don't think he's ever going to be anything. I just don't think he's a good enough offensive player. I'm out on him. So he doesn't really matter to me. The thing I want to focus here on is Detroit and LA. I know LA really likes Taylor Horton-Tucker. I'm not convinced that they would swap him for Olynyk, even though that front court spacing would be nice. They kind of need the juice that Taylor Horton-Tucker provides as a younger player, as a perimeter guy that can create his own shot. They have a lot of like kind of stiff, older, really only off-ball spacing guys, and that's just adding to that with Olynyk. I understand the value of having like Olynyk out there in the front court with Anthony Davis and the spacing that provides, but initially that's my thought there. But I do, last point on this though, is I love the fact that Marvin Bagley goes somewhere. He goes to Detroit, where they've already got a couple of interesting young bigs, but just let him play basketball. Just put him somewhere where he's actually going to be on the floor so we can decide for ourselves if this guy is good enough to talk about as much as we do. Again, Custis, I appreciate you sending in I almost said the video, is sending in the trade, man. Thank you. Second to last now, we have Smooth. He says the Suns get Harrison Barnes in exchange for Jay Crowder, Adam Nader, Jalen Smith, and a 1st round pick. So my first thought here is I know that the Suns really like having Jay Crowder around. I'm not saying they wouldn't move him for Harrison Barnes, but if you're talking about, hey, this is a significant upgrade, we're going to trade away Jalen Smith, who was a top 10 pick a year ago, and a future 1st round pick, it's got to be a hugely significant upgrade. Harrison Barnes is very good. He's been awesome this year. But Jay Crowder's a guy they've been able to rely on in postseason series. He's been able to make shots for them off the ball. I think they really do like him. Having said that, if you really like Harrison Barnes and you think that this is a huge upgradable piece for you, absolutely, if you're Phoenix, you make this move. My gut says each team says yes to this. Sacramento, again, this is pretty good value in exchange for Barnes. Smith could become something if they decide to play him, but again, that probably involves moving Bagley, which is a whole different conversation, and then the future pick as well. When you're considering getting these kinds of like young future assets in exchange for Barnes, I think it's a good one. And then last up, we can't go through the whole video and not mention it, right? The Kings. They trade Buddy Hield, Tyrese Halliburton, Tristan Thompson in exchange for Ben Simmons. Tristan Thompson is here quite literally just for salary matching purposes. There's a lot of different combinations of a Kings Simmons trade you can make here. Obviously, a lot of people are going to say, well, why is this not De'Aaron Fox? Because if the Kings are trading away De'Aaron Fox, then what's the point of trading for Ben Simmons? Unless you just think those two guys don't fit and you don't really like Fox and you like the combination of like healed Haliburton and Davion Mitchell, then I don't really understand the point unless that's the case. So in this scenario, you're trading Hield, you're trading Haliburton, you're getting Simmons, and you have Fox, Simmons, Mitchell, Barnes, Bagley, whoever else you want to move in exchange for Simmons. The concept here for Sacramento would be we're buying low on a guy that the rest of the league is down on. He's a potential All-NBA caliber guy that everybody else for some reason seems to have given up on. It's our opportunity as Sacramento for once to finally go out and get a player that is actually a huge true difference maker for us. And that's the reasoning for the move. For Philly, he'll provide spacing. Haliburton's a really good combo guard. Thompson doesn't really matter here. And you just are like, you wash your hands of the Simmons thing. You have your floor spacer, a guy that can create a little bit in Hield, a guy in Haliburton that is just a winning player, and you go from there. You probably ask for Fox if this gets offered. I think you think about it. I don't know if it's the best trade out there for Simmons. I don't know what else they've been offered. At this point, it doesn't seem like this is a trade they would be willing to do, but down the road, as we get closer to the deadline, maybe this becomes a more realistic possibility for Philadelphia. But that is going to be the end of today's video. I thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like rating on it. Check out my socials in the link tree as well, and check out more videos from me in the boxes on screen. With all those things said, hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Once again, my name is Tucker, and I will see you all next time.